guys, welcome back to Wix Fix. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Now in today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to design an e-commerce website. If you're interested in learning how to set up an e-commerce website, I have a video of that linked in the description below. So for this tutorial, we are going to be designing this site from scratch, which means we are not going to be using a template. You are more than welcome to use a template, but the two reasons I don't typically like using templates is one, I feel more proud when I create something original. And two, if you think about how many hundreds or thousands of people have a similar website because they chose a template, that doesn't make me feel like original. That's why on this channel, we typically just start from scratch and we design something completely original. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So when we look at the artboard in the Wix editor, you're going to see there's a header and then there's a footer. The first thing I like to do is start with the header and do the footer because these are the two things that's going to be consistent across all the pages on the entire site. So for most headers, you're going to see a logo and a menu. However, with e-commerce websites, they're a little bit different because they typically have a lot more stuff in them. So let's go ahead and start by adding a strip. So we'll go to add, strip, classic, and we'll just click this white one right here. We're gonna come over to the toolbar over here on the right and we'll make this one about like 30 pixels. Then we're just gonna drag this into the header. You're gonna see the header highlight and say attach to header, perfect. Now let's add like a little text, like some really tiny text. And you know, typically with this tiny little bar at the top, there's some kind of promotion. We can say something like, get 20% off first order, and then we'll align it to the center and we will just bring this up into the strip right here. Now let's go ahead and add a second strip. We'll make this one about 60 pixels high, maybe 80 pixels high. And then we are going to make this one white. So we're gonna go to change strip background, color, and white. Okay, and then for this strip, we're gonna add a few things to it. We're gonna add something to the left, the middle, and the right. So how we wanna do that to make it responsive is we're gonna come to layouts, we're gonna add column, and we're gonna do manage columns and add a third column. That way you can see it is split into 3, and now we can just bring this up right just like that. Now for the center, I kinda wanna add the logo. So we'll go to add image, we'll go to my uploads. I have already uploaded it, but if you want to add your logo, just go to upload media and it'll let you choose a file from your computer. So for this clothing brand company that we are going to be creating, it's going to be called Chic. We're going to shrink down the logo quite a bit. Now, as you can see, if we look really closely here, it kind of crops itself when you shrink it down. So we're just going to go to crop and we're just going to extend these out a little bit just to fix it. There we go. And then we're just going to bring this up into the strip we just created into the center, just like that. Okay, so for the left and the right side of this header, I want to add stuff that's included in the Wix store program or system. So we're gonna come over to add, we're gonna do store, and we're gonna add the site. Okay, once it is added, we'll have to go back to the home page and now we can start designing. I personally don't like this blue. So what we're gonna do is come over to site themes. So it's automatically pulling the colors from color 2. So if we edit this to something black like that, you're gonna see that this is gonna go to a dark gray. So it's probably choosing this one right here. So I'll do that. And then if you want to manually change the color, you can just click the icon and you can change the icon color to whatever you want. And then for this option, we're actually going to choose this icon. So for this login bar, this is where your users can sign up for an account on your website so they can buy products. We're actually going to move this to the left side. Then we're going to come over to the toolbar and just align it to the left and make sure it is centered. For this little cart icon, we're going to shrink it down to about that size. We're going to make sure it's in the right column. We're going to come over to the toolbar, align it to the middle, and align it to the left. Now there's one more thing I want to add to this right column, and that's a search bar so your users can find specific products. So we're going to go to add, store, and we're going to do a Wix site search. And it's going to add it to our site for us. Now let's go back to the home page, and now we can go ahead and design this. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over to layouts, and I'm going to select this second layout right here. Next, I'm going to go to settings and remove the placeholder text. Now I'm going to go into the design. So fill, we're going to remove the background. For the button, we're also going to remove the background. For the icon of the button, we're going to make it black. For border, we're going to make it this bottom line one, but we're going to remove the opacity. Hover, we're going to do the same exact thing, but maybe the icon, we make it like a lighter gray so people know they're hovering over something that they can click on. And then focus, we're going to remove the background color still. We're going to come over to border, We're gonna make sure it's on the bottom. And then for the button background, we're gonna make it nothing again, but maybe this time we choose a little bit darker of a gray, just like that. So now we can just move this over, set it next to our shopping icon. So now if we preview the site and the user hovers over the search icon, it'll change a different color. And then when they click it, there's going to be a bar that they can type in, just like that. Next, I want to add a menu down below the logo. We'll go to add, we'll go to strip, and we'll just pull out a classic one again. Now here we want to make the background white again, and then we're going to shrink this up to about 45, and we'll just stick it in the header. Now let's go ahead and add a menu. So what you can do is come down to add menu. So we'll just drag out this menu and we'll put it into the strip just like that. And then what we're going to do is stretch it all the way to the left and the right of the guidelines, and you'll feel it snap. So the next thing I want to do is create pages for each of the categories that I plan to use on the website. So like footwear, accessories, gifts, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and do that by pressing manage menu, and it's going to pull up our pages. We're going to create a page for each of our categories. Okay, now that we have all of our pages completed, if we look at the menu that we have right here, we have home and shop. We don't really need home and shop, so we'll go back to manage menu. We're gonna press this three dot icon and press hide. And we'll do that for shop as well. And that's gonna take it out of this menu right here. The text is a little bit bigger than I want, so I'm gonna press design, customize, text. We're gonna go down to 12, just like that. And now you can see the whole menu fits on the page. So now the header is complete. The next thing we want to do is the footer, just to get it out of the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the height of the footer something crazy high, like 1000 pixels. That way it just makes room for us to put stuff in. I'm also gonna change the background of the footer to something darker. And then we're gonna go ahead and press add strip. And we're gonna just grab out a basic strip, and we're gonna pull it down until we see the option to move it to footer. We'll click that, just like that. We'll move the footer to the top and press down on your keypad once. So if we preview the site, you're gonna see there's like a faint line right at the top. That's what we want. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is add a call to action for the users to sign up for your mailing list for promotions or whatever you want. So what we're gonna do is split the strip by adding a column. Over here, we're gonna have some text saying sign up for the mailing list. And over here, we're gonna add a subscription box. So let's go ahead and do that. And for the subscription box, we're just gonna go to add. We're gonna go to contact forms, subscribe, and we're just gonna drag out this one right here. And now we're gonna edit it to be whatever we want. So let's go ahead and press design, customize, input fields. We're always gonna make this 0% opacity. For the border, we want it on the bottom, and we're gonna make this 1 pixel, and we're gonna make it black, just like that. For the text, we want it to be the same as our site. So we're gonna do Proxima Nova, and we're gonna change the font color to black, and we'll do the same thing for input. So we'll do black for placeholder, black for the input color, and then Proxima. There we go. Now let's go into hover. We're gonna remove the background color once again. We're gonna choose bottom, and we're gonna keep this black, that, and we'll keep this 1 pixel. Next, let's go to focus. Again, we're gonna change it to bottom border style. We'll do black, and still let's keep it at 1 pixel. So we'll raise this opacity all the way to 100. And then let's do an error. We'll just do bottom style, bottom border style, and we'll lower the opacity about 20%. So that way, if they don't enter in a legit email, then they're gonna get an error and can't submit the form. Okay, now let's go to button. We'll customize the button. What we're gonna do is remove the fill, and for the icon, we're gonna make it black. And then for hover, we're gonna remove the border color completely and the fill color completely. And we're gonna make this a light gray. And then if we go to form background, we can remove the background color as well there. And then we can change this success message after they submit it. Make sure it's the same font as the rest of your site, and you're all good to go. And now what I want to do is expand this all the way to the left. And then let's click this and see how much farther we can go to the right, just like that. And I want to grab this form. I want to click the input field, and I'm going to align it to the left, and I'm going to drag it all the way to the right. Now I'm going to grab this button and align it to the right as well. We'll grab the thank you message, move this to the left. So now when we preview it, this is going to be our email form. Now personally, for this example, I'm not too big of a fan of the placeholder text. So what we're going to do is come to edit field. We're going to do show field title. And then for initial text, none. And then we're just going to type in email address. All right, and now we are done with our sign up. The next thing I want to do is add another section down below that's going to have more links to other pages or a way for the user to contact you and links to your social. So let's go ahead and do that. So basically what I did was add another strip. I split it in half just like we did up here. I added the logo. I added text that will link to popular pages. I added a little copyright notice. And then on the left side, I added like a section title that will talk about different things that the customer would need, and then a way for them to contact you. Now what I want to do is select this strip, and I want to move it down 1 pixel by pressing down on the keyboard. And then I want to click the footer down here and raise up the height of it. So now what we're going to see is that these sections have 1 pixel line of the footer background color, and then the strips with these white colors are on the top. So it kind of has like a nice vibe that kind of separates it from the rest of the site and looks really clean. So now that we're done with the header and the footer, we can go ahead and begin on the site content. So the first thing I want to add is a header section. So we'll go ahead and start with a strip just like this, and we'll make it about 700 pixels in height. Now this section is called the hero section because this is what the users are going to see first when they first come to your website. So it's important to make sure it's clear and really nice. So let's go ahead and add a background picture. And I just chose a random picture for this tutorial, but next what we're going to do is go into settings. We're going to change the background color to something dark, and then we're going to lower the opacity of it just a little bit. Next what we're going to do is come over to background scroll effect, and we're going to choose parallax. That way when the user scrolls down on the website, it looks really cool. And now we need to add some text to this picture. So I want to add some text over here on the left, but as you can see, Wix doesn't want you putting stuff outside this line and this line. They want stuff in between. So to fix this, we're going to come over to layouts, and we're going to choose align to the left, just like that. So now we can put content on this side, but we can't put content on this side. So let's go ahead and put some text here by going to add text, and we'll bring out a heading 1. Now it's important to know you really only want one heading 1 on a single page because that tells Google what that page is mainly for. Now what you want to use for this heading 1 text is basically what you offer your users or your customers. Now I'm just using random words, but of course you want to be more specific. And then lastly, I just kind of want to add a button here. So we'll go to add button. We'll just drag out this one right here, and we'll put it under our text. We're going to change text to shop now. And then here you can also add a link. So you can add it to a page. You can have it go to your general shop page, or if you want to link it to one of your specific collection pages, you can do that as well. But for this example, I'm just going to do shop. And now let's come over to design, and let's go ahead and design it. So do customize design. Fill, we're going to remove the fill. Border, we're going to make it white, and we're going to make it 1 pixel. And then hover, what we're going to do is make the fill white, and then the text dark, just like that. Now let's go ahead and select both of these by holding down your shift key and clicking on both, and then press group elements. Now what we can do is come over to align and align it to the center horizontally and vertically. There we go. Now our header section is finished. Now I do see a lot of e-commerce websites having like a scrolling header. If you want to do something like that, you can come over to add, you can go to interactive and do full width sliders. And basically what this is a slider that is timed and will just gradually go through all of the basically slides. And you can customize the design and images and whatever you want for each one of these. But for this example, we're not going to use that. Now after the hero section, typically a lot of e-commerce websites, they have some of their products down below. So what we're going to do is add a strip. We're going to make this strip like 60 pixels in height. Next, what we're going to do is add. We'll go down to store, and we'll drag out this grid product gallery. We'll just click it. Okay, and we're going to bring it down below that strip that we just created. This strip, we actually need to make this white, so we'll go to change background, color, and white. But this strip is actually just going to act as a separator between the hero section and the grid gallery of our products. Next thing I want to do is go into settings. We'll choose layout, and if you want, you can stretch this the full width to look something more like this. But for this example, we're just going to leave it just here in the center. And as you can see here, we have a bunch of different options for how we can show off our products. but for this example, we're just going to choose the first one. You can also choose the image ratio that you want to use, but again, for this one, we'll just use this one. And then I kind of just want 2 columns, not 3 or 5, or I guess rows. So we're going to go down to 2 rows, just like that. And then there's going to be a load more icon, so the user can click that to show more of those products if they want to. Now we can go down to design and we can start designing everything. However, the only thing I really want to change is the load more button. We don't want it to be purple in this example, so we'll just make it black like that. And then I'm pretty sure the text is still Proxima, so we're all good there. Now let's go up to the strip separator that we just created. Let's copy it, come down here, and we'll paste it. And we'll bring it right below that shop element. And this is going to be the separator for our next section. Okay, so now let's go ahead and press add. We'll do strip. We'll just do a full width strip right here. For this strip, we're going to make it 500 pixels in height. Then we're going to select this stretched icon right here. We'll give it 60 pixels of margin. So if you look closely on the left and right hand side, it brought in the strip by 60 pixels on both sides. Okay, next thing I want to do is add 3 columns. So we'll press layouts, press add column. Then we'll do manage column and add another one. Next we'll go into layouts. We'll scroll down and then we're going to add 30 pixels of column spacing. Now you're going to see it add 30 pixels here and 30 pixels here. Now what I want to do is add some text here on the left hand side and add images on both of these. So let's go ahead and start with that. Okay, so over here, like I said, I added some text and I added a button that will link to some other page that I want to link to. And I added images over here to the middle and the right. And then I also added the parallax scrolling effect. That way when we scroll, it looks really cool. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab this strip. We'll copy and paste it in. We'll bring it down below. And what this is doing is basically keeping the spacing between all of our elements consistent, which is exactly what we want, which is a really professional technique to make your site look really clean. Okay, the next thing I want to do is add another shop element similar to this one, but we're only going to have 1 row and we're going to have it span the whole screen. So what we're going to do is just copy and paste this shop element. We're just going to drag it down as far as we can. We'll go ahead and make sure it's aligned to the center and we'll drag it up against our separation strip. Okay, next we'll do settings. We'll go to layout. We'll go down to rows and we'll make sure it's only 1. And then we're going to go up to the top and do stretched full width, just like that. And then we're also going to add 60 pixel margins right here. That way, if I pull this toolbar over here, you're going to see that it matches the strip above it. And then we're going to come over to design. We're going to do load more button. We're going to scroll down all the way down to the bottom to where it says button width. And we're going to make this about like 15, maybe 10. 8. There we go. I think that looks good. And that way it kind of matches this button design a little bit more. Okay, now that this section is complete, now I just want to add a section similar to this header section where it's just a background image and some text. And that's going to be the last section for this page. But before we do that, of course, we need to copy and paste this separation strip. Now we can come over to add, do strip. We'll do change strip background, image. And let's just find an image that we want to use. Okay, then what we're going to do is come over to background color, make it dark, and then lower the image opacity just a little bit like that. And then background scroll effect, again, we're just going to choose parallax. And then for layout, we're going to make sure it's aligned to the right. We're going to add some text over here. Alrighty, and this is basically our homepage design. But before we publish, of course, we always need to check mobile. So let's go over to the mobile editor right here. And what we're going to go ahead and do is edit this design. It looks really crazy here, obviously. So we manually need to make it look pretty. For mobile, you really don't need that much stuff. So for this 20% off first order, I would say for this strip, we really don't need it. So we're just gonna hide this one. For this login bar, I feel like it really doesn't need to be on the main header. So what we're gonna do is right click, move to menu box, and we'll just drag it down and we'll make sure it is centered. Let's also make sure that this X icon is at the top, right about there. And then we'll close menu. And then we'll do the same thing for the cart icon and the search box. Now we can go ahead and click the top column with nothing in it anymore and just hide this one. And we'll do the same thing for the bottom column. So now we're only left with this one right here. And we're just gonna drag this up and we're gonna move the logo over here to the left. And we're gonna use the shift and right arrow keys to move it over 20 pixels. And we're gonna move this hamburger icon over to the right. And we're gonna use the shift and left arrow key to move it over once. And then whatever else is in the header, we can just hide it. And then we'll drag up the header to the recommended header size, which you'll see right here. Now our hero section can be about 300 pixels in height, and then you may see some overlap of other strips, so we'll just move those down. Next, what we need to do is edit the text size, which since this is going to be the hero section, I think this could be around like 60 pixels. And then the buttons, I like the font size to be about 13 pixels. And then I like the width and height to be 100 by 35. That is a really good size for mobile. Now, viewing this mobile device on a desktop computer, it may look completely different. So what I suggest is maybe you publish the site, you pull it up on your mobile device and check it, because sometimes you'll catch certain designs that look either way too small or way too big, and you can fix it rather than just assuming it looks okay in this editor and looking completely different on your phone. So that's a little bit of a pro tip for you. And then we're going to drag the text down to be about right here. Now here is a separation like strip that we had on the desktop. We'll make this about 20 pixels, maybe 40 pixels. And then we will just come over here to the right and say delete space, and it's gonna bring it up to the top. And then right underneath it, we're also gonna press delete space, and it's gonna bring everything to the top for us. Which it looks like this shop gallery already has some space above it, so we can actually just get away with removing this strip altogether. And that looks really clean. Now this would be a lot of scrolling for someone on a mobile device. So what we're gonna do is come into settings and do 2 columns. That way there is a lot less scrolling for the user. Next thing I want to do is hide this separation strip underneath the shop. We can go ahead and begin working on this section. I kind of like the way this looks. However, I do kind of want there to be that little gap that we had on the desktop view. So we'll come over to layouts and do column spacing 10 pixels. Okay, and then also we're going to choose these picture columns, and we're only going to make them 200 pixels high. We'll do that for the second one as well. And then make sure that you have all of your text elements and buttons all the same height and all the same size and width and everything. So let's go ahead and make these subheadings 30 pixels. These paragraphs 13 pixels. For the buttons, of course, we're going to do 13 pixels, and then the width is 135 for height, just like that. And this section is all done. Now let's go ahead and press delete space, and then we can go ahead and hide this separator. And then let's go into settings on here and just make it 2 columns again. Okay, and then the last thing we have here is this strip. So we'll go ahead and make this 200 pixels in height. We'll just bring down the text to be about right here. And now we can start working on the footer design. Now I do want to keep this email sign up form, and I definitely want to keep this section right here, and maybe the contact section as well, and maybe the social bar, but everything else we can go ahead and hide for the mobile. So what we're going to do up here is we're going to grab this strip. We're going to pull it up to the top and then press down on the arrow keys once just to give it that 1 pixel view again. Next, we're going to edit the subscription form to look like how it did on desktop, just like that. And we'll bring up this thank you text, and we'll drag up the height of this form element, and then we'll drag up the column height as well. Now let's go ahead and drag up the second strip, and just like before, press the down arrow key on your keyboard. And then we're going to go ahead and select this top column and expand it down a little bit. I like this copyright notice to always be at the bottom, just like that. And then let's go ahead and grab contact us. We're going to make this align to the right by pressing settings and align to right. Now we're going to bring it up to right here. Now what we can do is just shorten all of these text elements so it's not taking up the entire screen. And let's go ahead and grab the phone number from the contact us, the email us, and let's go ahead and bring up the social icons. Then we'll go ahead and select this second column and just hide, and it'll hide everything else for us. And then just like we did with contact us, we're going to go ahead and go to settings, align to the right, and we're going to shorten up the text element. We'll do the same thing for email us. Okay, now let's drag these up. And then for the social bar, let's go into layouts. The icon sizes are huge, so we're just going to lower them down. And spacing, let's make it 7. And we'll drag this right here. And then we'll drag this up, be right here. And then last but not least, we'll drag up this strip just like that. So now in the preview, this is going to be our footer design for mobile. And before I wrap up this video, I want to show you how to create these other pages. And Basically, this same technique is going to be used for all of these pages. So let's go into footwear. Let's just go ahead and add like a strip at the top. It's kind of like a hero section, but it's going to be a little bit smaller. And we'll basically just add an image and some text. And don't forget to click the strip and make sure the background scroll effect is set to parallax, just like that. And then of course, don't forget to add a separator strip for desktop. So we'll bring that in, make the color white, make it 80 pixels in height, just like that. And now we can add a shop element. So we'll go down to add and grid product gallery. We'll center it up and place it under our separator. Now if we go into settings and choose collection, here we can add a collection. It's going to open up our dashboard with our ecom stuff. What we're going to do is name the collection footwear. And now we'll add products like these shoes. Is there any more shoes? No? Okay. Wix only has so many default stuff, but I'll choose all the shoes that I'm selling. We'll press add, and we'll press save. And then it's going to offer if you want to create a new page for this collection, or if you want to add this collection to an existing page. So we're just going to add it to footwear. So now that we have that collection set up, let's go into settings again. We'll do collections and we'll choose footwear. Now, only the shoes are going to show up on this page. And you basically use that technique for accessories, lifestyle, gifts, like all the other collection pages that you have created. Just make sure that you have these collections set up for each of those pages, and on those pages that collection is selected. And of course, don't forget to check mobile for that page as well. And that basically wraps it up for the video, guys. If you did enjoy, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content like this in the future. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you on the next one.